How do I help my baby with septo optic dysplasia, but also with just general development? Okay. Now, first of all, what you have to realize that babies that have very low vision or vision that's just not making sense to them, well, that connects all their senses. If I talk about spaghetti, you're thinking, you're visualizing spaghetti. Maybe if you don't like spaghetti, then the tastes come into your mouth, or you do like spaghetti, or you're thinking about your grandmother, but all the senses come into play with vision, right? Now, yes, people do not have vision, but most people think of visually impaired and nothing else. That is very rare these days. Usually when a child or someone is visually impaired, they're multi-handicapped. They have many things going on with them. And we don't want that to happen, right? So the biggest thing that you're gonna do for your child, first of all, you really gotta be on track with development. When a child is got a diagnosis early, they're sort of like, a lot of people are gonna act like everything's gravy, like, oh, but considering he's doing really good. Well, I get it that he's doing really good, but he's got to do better, right? He's not developing. There's a difference between doing really good with SOD or there's doing really good in general. We want really good. And that's why we call it optimal development, because it is optimal development with someone with SOD, but it's also optimal development for someone that's just, that doesn't have these concerns. So, but when you're visually impaired, the one big thing that doesn't set up is your binocular vision, where your eyes are working together, and then going into convergence. Now, convergence starts to appear around 4.5 months, right? But convergence is also your hands, your fine motor skills, and your gross motor skills. This is why baby goes to grab their feet, right? Everything comes together with your baby when you've got convergence, hands, feet, and all that, and that's grabbing your feet all around 4.5 months. This is how all these milestones start going together, even though grabbing your feet's not a milestone under the U.S. government, it is. So when you don't have convergence with the eyes, the fine motor skills and the gross motor skills can also be complicated in finding that convergence, that catching a ball, right? This is how we all start, and we chew on everything and we do all of this. It's due to convergence, right? But we only usually think of visual convergence, but it happens again with our feet and with our hands. So, and then eventually we start having these kind of movements where the vision convergence supersedes. But again, throwing the ball, all of that comes due to convergence. So, the one thing we need to work on is convergence, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do over my baby's hands, right? Biggest problem with the misconception we do with baby development is we go to external sources. Now, I'm not saying we don't do something to play with or do all this and go, hi, baby, and put stuff on our noses or whatever to have these kind of things. But, right, we learn and move internally, right? We respond to external sources, but our movements come from within. So, to help with convergence, we have to go within. So the one thing that you're going to work on is, right? Again, most people are going to think, oh, hand over hand. Oh, great. I worked on convergence. No, because when you're done, this is what you're going to get. You're going to come in with your baby, and all you're going to start doing, and I'll show you this from both sides, right, is you're going to start with so my fingers are going right to this side of the spine. I've got my hand lightly under the head. I do not grab my baby. Think of it as a magic carpet. If you feel your touch is too rough, too tough, can't get gentle, just put a blanket underneath your baby and go underneath the blanket, because then you can't have that grabby, you know what I mean? You're going underneath that blanket. Think of it as a magic carpet. But the first thing you want to do with convergence is get the spine to cross midline, because if the midline doesn't happen, this is why rolling over comes before grabbing your feet. This is why you're not meant to miss a milestone, right? And that's what it's going to look like. So what you're seeing from underneath, right? You're just right here, and you're just basically just guiding your baby and doing something like that. And but I'm not tipping over my child, but what I'm doing, and this is where I said I'd show you from 2 different positions, You can be sitting here, hi, sweetheart. See where my hands are, right? And you're just lightly, just lifting, just lightly lifting. And you'll do that from both sides. You'll come here and you'll just do that with your baby, right? That's the one thing I want you to work on. You're going to do the full spine. You can go down to the pelvis. It's very loving. It's very bonding, right? Come right here to show you. And you're just going to be here with your baby. And you're just going to be like, hi, sweetheart. But really, it's all you're doing, right? You're just working on this nice fine movement. But you're working on all the convergence that needs to happen. But convergence can't happen again until that spine crosses midline. I just did a review on a child with autism. Same thing, midline issues throughout the chest. And I can tell you right now, it's hard for her to catch a ball. It's hard for her to ride a bicycle and all of those kind of things. Get in and out of crawling, probably was pulled to stand. All because this simple little movement was missing in her body way back when. And this is what we're just trying to catch now. Thanks.